All right. So we've got people jumping on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Yvonne. Good to see you. Go ahead and get started so you guys can get on with your evening once I'm done. So, hello, welcome. My name is Michael Robertson Jr. I'm an author. Hopefully, you guys know that if you're watching this video, but I know we've had some newcomers on the page recently. So, welcome. And I used to do these Facebook Lives a lot more frequently. I don't get to do them quite as often as I would like or that I used to, but I'm trying to change that and get back in the swing of doing some more video content, mostly because I just enjoy doing it. So I like hanging out with you guys on these lives and catching up. Hello, Susan from the UK. Good to see you. And hello, Robert. Good to see you, sir. I'm just gonna basically give you guys some updates. It's been, I think, almost 3 months, or right about 3 months, since I did a monthly update. So this is gonna be kind of like a 3 month update on what I've been reading and watching and what I've been enjoying, and then the projects that I've been working on and what I think I might be doing in the future. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. And if you saw my post on Facebook earlier, when I was announcing that I was going to be doing this live, I did mention that I would be giving away a signed copy of the paperback version of The End House with its brand new cover that just got released, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. Um, so that's exciting, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Also, as I used to do in the past, and I'm doing for this video currently, even though this is live on Facebook, I am recording a high resolution version that I'll put together in an edit and upload to my YouTube page either tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how long it takes me. And there'll be another opportunity for you to win the signed paperback if you go over to YouTube as well. So you can enter twice basically if you want, if you jump over to YouTube also, and see what I got going on over there. So always good to see you too, Susan. Hello, Lorraine. Good to see you. Hello, Mike. Good to see you, sir. Tina, you are a great writer. Thank you so much, Tina. I do appreciate that. I'm really glad that you have enjoyed something that I've written. Let's jump in. I will first talk about my latest, not book, but my latest offering, so to speak, that I've been pretty excited about. And that's my new short story. It's called Cemetery Hill. You know, it is technically a short story. For me, it's on a little bit of the longest side of a short story. I forget the word count. It might have been right about 10,000 words. So not micro short. It was about 50 pages in Microsoft Word, maybe a little less. But this story was important for a couple reasons for me. The first was, if you've been following me on the page for a while or read my books for a while, you may have realized that it's been a while since I've really put out a book, which for me, a while, it's been almost a full year. It's been the End House, which is the book I was just talking about, the new paperback. That originally launched in October of 2022, so we're coming up on a year without a new book, which is a long time for me. And there was various reasons as to why that is the case. I talked about that a lot over on my Midnight Coffee podcast, and I posted that on YouTube as well. A good portion of that conversation. But long story short, it just was, it felt really good to write this. I'd actually started writing an eighth Lance Brody novel, and kind of just in the middle of, not in the middle, in the early beginnings of writing that book, I just for some reason felt compelled to go write some short fiction. It just felt like I really had a good idea and I wanted to write it, and I just wanted to start and finish writing something. I've written a couple other short stories since The End House came out. I did a Christmas horror story called Christmas Tradition that I also really liked. That was fun. That is also available over on Substack. Excuse me, on Midnight Coffee. But that wasn't available anywhere else. And then I also wrote a very short Lance Brody short story called That's Our Time. That's also available over on Midnight Coffee as well. But this one just felt different. It felt more complete. It just felt good. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the story. The story of Cemetery Hill is essentially about a young man who grows up with a best friend who they share a passion together for designing video games and computers. And then as they get older, they start to grow apart. One becomes very successful, one not so much. And the other caveat to this is the one that does become successful, he has spent his entire life looking out his childhood's home bedroom window, and he can see the oldest part of his town's local cemetery. It's a hilltop called Cemetery Hill. And those two pieces of the story collide into what I personally think is a very, very chilling story. I actually kind of got chills writing part of it. I'm not kidding. When I was writing part of the story, I did kind of shiver myself just imagining it in my head as I was putting it down onto the page. And I think it's also got a lot of heart, which if you've read my books in the past, I think that's something that I try to implement. You can have a lot of fun with horror that is straight up hardcore, gritty, bad monsters, whatever. But when you can slip in some horror, some heart and some feeling for your characters, I think it makes it that much more impactful. So I really, really enjoyed writing this. And from what I've received in terms of feedback from you guys, you have also really enjoyed it, which makes me really happy. I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed this story as well. So let me have some comments here. Lorraine says, great short story. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Let's see. Thank you. Who was that? Somebody said something else here. Hold on. Oh, thank you, Diane. Freaking great read. Thank you. Thumbs up emoji. Cindy, thank you very much. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, Mike. Is it autobiographical in nature? I read the IT references. It's not autobiographical in nature, but I'm aside from being a writer, I'm a little bit of a computer nerd, a geek, a gadget geek. I love video games. My career outside of writing is in information technology. It's what I went to school for. So that stuff just kind of naturally slips in because it is so easy for me to write and I enjoy it. So it's just very natural. So when I was trying to figure out what these two boys would have in common, what would pull them together, and what is a career that I could write about very easily for the one to become successful, it just seemed like a natural fit to keep the story flowing. Hello, Amy. Is it Marnin? Marnin? Hello, Amy. Good to see you. Yvonne says, I agree. I felt the heart. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate that. So yeah, Midnight Cemetery Hill short story. If you don't like short stories, don't read it. I know some people don't like short stories. They don't like open endings. They don't like, ambiguous endings, and they like full length novels. But short fiction is a favorite of mine. I love reading it, and I really do enjoy writing it if I can find the right story. So yeah, if you want to give it a chance, give it a try. It is available on my own digital store. You can get the ebook or the audiobook and read or listen to it on just about any device you want, including your own web browser. It is also available as an ebook only on Amazon Kindle. Should be in all the country's stores. And then just yesterday, I uploaded it or it was the day before yesterday, I uploaded an ad-supported version over on YouTube, so you can listen to the short story on YouTube for free. Just be aware there are ads in it that will break up the story every once in a while. I tried to keep the ads to a minimum, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's it. And if you are curious as to why it's not available in Kindle Unlimited, I've been doing some testing with experimenting with some of the other stores, like Apple and Barnes & Noble and Kobo. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here on that, but I will be talking about it a little more in the next episode of the Midnight Coffee podcast that I should be recording this week. So if you're a little more interested in some of the behind the scenes writing, business, publishing side of things, be sure and check that out. That'll be going up to Midnight Coffee patrons first, and then I'll be putting the video up on YouTube a few days later. So I think I said everything I needed to say about Cemetery Hill, so that's cool. And then in that same note, in terms of the being available in other stores, the End House, for the first time, the ebook is now available on the other stores as well. So Apple, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo, and the audiobook is available just about everywhere. Also, including my digital store, ebook and audiobook, and a bundle where you can grab them and save a few bucks. if you're interested. And the links, by the way, to my store, to YouTube, and to Midnight Coffee, which is my Substack page, that should all be in the description of this video. I tried to put it there so you could find them if you're interested. But again, this is more of the kind of experimenting, testing some waters to see some other things that I'll explain later in the podcast if you're interested in that. But yeah, that's basically what's been going on with the writing front. And then in terms of what I'm working on, I have every intention now that Cemetery Hill's out and I've kind of got a game plan going forward. I really want to explore Lance Burley #8. I wrote about the first 10,000 words of it before I switched gears and jumped onto Cemetery Hill. So I'm going to pick that back up and see if the story is still there, see if it's still strong enough to continue working on. And then if it is, great. I hope it is. It was already fun to get, back with Lance and Leah a little bit. But if it's not, I either need to come up with another idea or I'll switch gears and I'll write another book entirely. So we'll see, but I'll keep you posted. But I really want to continue this Lance story because the premise that I came up with, it just seems fun. Like I want to explore it and see where it goes. And I just love Lance. I think a lot of you guys do also. Deanna says, I love all your books. You're such a great author. Thank you so much, Deanna. That's very sweet of you. I do appreciate that, seriously. So yeah, that's what I'm really working on for right now. And there's other things I want to do that I don't want to talk about yet because if they never happen, I don't want to speak them out loud and then you never hear about them again. But there's some more video stuff I want to do down the road, especially with my friend Jason. But more on that later. Let's see. That I think is the quick rundown of what I've been working on and what I've been publishing and what I'm thinking about doing. So let's get into some of the more fun stuff, which is I'm going to try to go through my list here because I do keep a list of all the books I read and all the movies I watch. And I'm going to see if I can pick out some of my favorites from the last few months since I missed some updates. From the book standpoint, let me see. I read All Hallows by Christopher Golden, which was a fun Halloween book. I really was surprised at how much I liked that. Christopher Golden is always good for fast, fun, creepy reads. For You and Only You, that was the Caroline Kepnes, the 4th book in the Joe Goldberg series. I listened to that on audio. I've listened to all those books on audio. I've not actually read any of them, but I just love Santino Fontana, I think is his name, the guy that narrates those books. Superb. Some of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. That was very different from what I was expecting from a Justin Cronin book after reading the Passage trilogy. It was good. I enjoyed it. Definitely not my favorite. I think I prefer the Passage trilogy, but it was a good book. Didn't really like that book, so I'm not going to say anything about it. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Really enjoyed that. That guy is really impressing me with his books. The House Across the Lake, was that the one that came out last year? That one was so good. I didn't read it until earlier this year. Yeah, I read it in March. That one was so good that I instantly pre-ordered his next one. I fell in love with his writing style and his combination of mystery and creepiness. Really, really good. So the Only One Left was very solid. I read that is not what I read. I read Jonathan Franzen's new book, The Crossroads, which was, if you like Jonathan Franzen, really good book. If you don't like Jonathan Franzen, don't bother because it's a very Jonathan Franzen book. Very dense, very meaty, very wordy, very literary. But I just love his exploration of characters. He writes some of the realest human beings ever. His exploration of character is just top notch. It takes him a long time to write a book. And I think this one is supposed to be the first of a trilogy, which is really interesting to me because I think this trilogy is going to take some of the same subset of characters and kind of jump them forward generationally. We're jumping ahead a lot from each book in the trilogy, which is kind of reminiscent of not quite as big a jump, I think, as the trilogy that is it Ken Follett or Ken Follett? I'm not actually sure how to say his last name. Wrote a few years ago, but anyway, I'm excited to read the rest of those. And then I read The Island by Adrian McKenty, which was one in Kindle Unlimited that I just grabbed to read quickly when I was on vacation. So that was kind of like a survival story, deliverance sort of thing. Nothing crazy, but it was in Kindle Unlimited, so that was a nice, fun kind of free read if you're a subscriber. The Beast You Are by Paul Tremblay. I read that. That is a book that I was really looking forward to because I love Paul Tremblay's novels, and I've read his other collections. This one I did not enjoy as much, primarily for two reasons. The first one is I've read some of these stories already because they've been published in other either standalone or other publications. And the second one was the titular story of this, which is The Beast You Are, was written in free verse, and I just did not jive with it. And it was the longest story of the book. It took up like the last third of the whole collection. So I felt like I kind of lost out on a lot of the book. So yeah, not my favorite Paul Tremblay book, but his novels are still fantastic, and I continue to recommend him to people. And then currently, I am listening to The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. She writes some really nice mysteries. The Guest List and The Hunting Party, I think, was the other one. I've read both of those and really enjoyed them. I'm almost done with this. I have a few hours left, maybe like 2 hours left on the audiobook of that. And I read The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. And this is in Kindle Unlimited also. And I've never read a John Scalzi book. I know he's very popular in the sci-fi world. And I was just looking for something to read and saw this in Kindle Unlimited and thought, hey, I'll give this one a try. And it was so fun. I'm so glad I did. I've said this in my Midnight Coffee weekly updates. It reminds me of Michael Crichton meets Harlan Coben. It's got the geeky kind of science-y vibe, science fiction side of things from Crichton, and it's got the very fun, light prose with a lot of humor and wittiness in it that you would get with like a Harlan Coben mystery. You put those together, and that is what the Kaiju Preservation Society is. Now, if you don't like science fiction at all, if you don't like traveling to a different dimension or an alternate Earth where there are big dinosaur type monsters, if that doesn't interest you, don't read this book. But if you want something fun that's in that science fiction-y vein, I had a really, really good time with this. And then I'm currently reading on my Kindle The Edge Creek Light by H.P. Bain. And I know a lot of you guys have read H.P. Bain's books. According to the Amazon algorithm and what I've seen on social media, she and I have a lot of crossover in our readership. And after having started reading this book, I can see why. We have a very similar genre. So I'm looking forward to reading these because I want to get a little bit of a feel for her work, because I'm going to try to reach out to her and see if she'd be interested in jumping on a podcast episode with me and we could talk about writing and her books and see how things are going there. She writes really fast. I didn't realize that she has 15 books out in this series. And here I am with 7 with Lance, and that's like 7 books over like 5 or 6 years, or maybe even 7 years. So holy smokes, that's some fast writing. But anyway, I'm looking forward to reading some more of these and hopefully having a chat with her. I mean, I don't want to. Again, I'm making false promises. I have no idea if she even will be interested in doing that, but I am. So I'm going to reach out. I'm going to see if she's willing to jump on board for a podcast episode. But that's what I've been reading. And then I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of movies that I've watched. I'll just pull out the good stuff. I did go see Oppenheimer, which I thought was amazing. I love Christopher Nolan anyway. Like, his movies are just so big and exciting, and just he's a master when it comes to cinematography. I mean, his director of photography obviously has a big part in that, but what they pull off is just so visually stunning and scale. And this was a very interesting story given the history behind Oppenheimer. So I saw that. That was really good. What else jumped out at me? Evil Dead Rise, the newest Evil Dead. That's on HBO to watch now. That was a lot of fun. That took me by surprise, actually, how much fun that was. Just a big, bloody, creepy mess. That was good. I watched the new Children of the Corn, like I don't even know what it is. It was a new Children of the Corn that was on Shudder. That was visually looked great. The story is bonkers ridiculous. And that's all I'll say about that. Anything else in the horror world I've watched recently? I watched Cocaine Bear. That was back in April, so I may have already talked about that. So apologies, I'm repeating myself. And then just last night, I watched Asteroid City from Wes Anderson. I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I never got to go see that in the theater, and I was holding off on renting it because I figured it'd be coming to streaming pretty soon, and it did. So I watched that last night. And if you're a Wes Anderson fan, I mean, what more can I say? It's a Wes Anderson film, very quirky. This one was actually quite meta in its presentation, which I thought was fun. Um, so yeah, that was good. If you like what, just like I was saying with Jonathan Franzen, if you like Wes Anderson, you'll like Asteroid City. If you don't like Wes Anderson's style, his characters, his dialogue, you're gonna hate this movie. My wife wouldn't watch it with me because she does not like Wes Anderson at all. So that that might be it. That might be the highlights of the movies that I've watched. I haven't watched a ton of films recently, but there is some good horror coming out very soon. That new movie, Talk to Me or Speak to Me. It's either Speak to Me or Talk to Me. That looks amazing. It's been getting good reviews, and I posted this on my Beyond the Pages Facebook group. But holy crap, the trailer for the new Exorcist film looks insane. Like I am blown away by how good that trailer looks and how good that movie looks. They played that trailer in the theater before we saw Oppenheimer, and like it was maybe the scariest trailer I've ever seen in terms of just impact in your face. Like if you had had a small child in that theater and they saw just the trailer, they probably would have ran out screaming. It was really really impressive. So I'm excited about that as well. Um, yeah, I could keep rambling about some stuff that I've read or watched recently, but I think that's the gist of it. That's what jumps out to me. So I'll end that, and I think that's really all of my updates that I have. I feel like it's been so long, I had to go down a whole list and just ramble, but that's all I've got in terms of anything in regard to that. So if you guys have any questions or want to talk about anything else, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll tell you how to win the book. To win the book, all you have to do is just leave a comment on this video. And a lot of you have already done that. So if you're here and you're watching, leave a comment. If you are watching this after the fact, not live, after it's been posted, same thing. Just leave a comment. I'm going to give it until Saturday. I'll give you guys to the end of the week. I'll give it to Saturday, and then I'll pick a winner on Saturday. I'll reach out to you on Facebook Messenger, and I will announce the winner and see where you want this shipped. Same thing with YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, when this gets posted, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to my channel. That's the key. It's free. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, and you'll be entered to win another signed copy of the paperback. So I'm giving away two, one here, one on YouTube. If you want two chances to win, do both. And again, the YouTube link is in the video here on Facebook. So that is it. I feel like I've been talking fast and for a long time. So it was really, really good to see some familiar names on here. Good to see some new names. And hopefully I will have some more content to share with you guys, whether that be books, short stories, or otherwise soon. So I will leave it at that. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Appreciate you reading as always. And I'll end this the same way I have ended every Facebook Live that I've ever done. If you have read my work, any of my work, and you enjoyed it and you want to do me a huge favor, if you could jump over to Amazon and just leave a review saying you enjoyed the book, or leave a star rating, whatever's easiest, that'd be very much appreciated. Reviews really do help out smaller authors like myself. Don't just do it for me, do it for anybody that you read. I promise you they will appreciate it. So that is it. Thanks so much, guys. This has been fun. This has felt good. It's been a long time, and hopefully we will do it again very soon. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.